Greetings and welcome. I am Joffrey, and today I thought that I thought I'd start the stream, just a little later because I didn't see anyone typing late in the chat. So I needed to wait to make sure someone had typed late before we actually started, because we have to start late. But today we are discussing mercenaries, and then Hungary? Yes, Hungary is the flavor. I believe Vector said. So,
Hungry, hungry for mercenaries.
I am, and I'm sure lots of other people will be too, because mercenaries are quite the contentious thing in Europa Universalis. I know that there's a lot of mods that revert mercenaries in EU4 to the old way, where you had a mercenary capacity and they would just not cost any manpower. There would be no limit to the amount that you could use as long as you have the cash for it. So I'm curious how that works here, because how tied everything is to pops, I suspect that mercenaries are probably going to they're probably going to function in some sort of manner where they take pops from some place, and those pops work as a part of the mercs. Uh, Counting backward times would be early. Well, good, I guess. Think that I'm gonna like this one. Well, we will see then. I hope so. I always hope to like things. I do not. I do not do this because I dislike the game and want to talk about it being bad. That's what EU4 is for. A game that I like and want to make fun of. But let us get started. This week, we talk about how mercenaries and prisoners of war will work in this game. As we mentioned in previous Tinto talks, we have three types of regiments: levies, regulars, and mercs. You can at any point rearrange an army and move regiments freely between them, no matter the status of the regiment. So it's not a case of, earlier.
EU4 mercs being like a specific army.
Yes, because earlier today that was relevant while I was playing the kobolds and slowly dying. Uh, Spoiler alert.
Both inside and in the game.
Uh, you have you're like 30 stack of kobolds I had that couldn't. There was no place that they could stand on. So you could split them up. Yes. Ayo, Penzor. Ayo. So you've got the third army in Marienburg, and it gains food from Marienburg. Shows us it's gaining morale per month, presumably. And then these I'm not sure about, but this Teuton army has 1440 men on its left flank, 545 in the center, 2,567 in the right flank, and 373 in reserves. Why so few in the center? I'd expect that is where the bulk of the regular knights are. In total, the army has 6 cavalry levy regiments, 2 regular, and 9 mercenaries, for a total of 634 men. For cavalry. Yeah, 6. Yeah, okay, that's for, yeah. So the bulk of the knights are in the center for the full frontal charge, and then they have a ton of levies on the sides. Yeah. Okay. That is very interesting. Oh, and that must be the prisoners. Yeah, that's where the prisoners go. The bars image. Um, these symbols, I do like these symbols, but they're a little hard to see at a glance.
They look like NATO units.
Yeah, like
the X's.
The X on a block is kind of neat, sure, but like you know what my initial thought, what if they, instead of having like this piece with like this vague symbol, what if you had like a figurine, like it was like an icon that showed like a like a chess piece kind of thing, and it was facing one way or another. Maybe. Hmm. Ah, that'd be too difficult to. Then how would you represent it facing normally? So just in the middle. They are NATO tiles, yes. Hmm. They have one mercenary. Presumably the one on the left is levies. That presumably this shows levies. This shows professional troops, and the one on the right is mercs. Um, 6 cavalry levies. Yeah, it is. Okay. 9 mercenaries, so it shows you there. That's neat. That's neat. All right. Hiring mercenaries. When you hire a mercenary company, you will first need to find a commander that can raise the company for you. This is not a simple choice, as a more competent commander will cost more gold, but the amount of regiments you can raise under a mercenary depends both on the administrative ability of the commander and the amount of possible mercenaries the pops of that area has. So, when you're going to hire mercs, you pick a character that is going to be in charge of the mercenaries for you. You don't like go around and just find a mercenary band. Hmm? Oh. Mercenary regiments rely on having their soldiers come from pops, and if there is not enough soldiers for them in an area, that will limit the amount of regiments. Negative stability in the country, together with devastation and low control in the location, determines how many pops are willing to leave home and become mercenaries. So, the less stable, and the more devastated, and the less control you have in a region, just as the more bad, the worse things are in a location, the more likely it is that pops will want to become mercs. That makes sense. The type of regiments that a mercenary can raise depends on what regiments are commonly available in the area the mercenary is recruited from. Some types of regiments may be more common than others in an area, and just because you've found a nice 99 admin commander, he may not be able to raise enough of a certain type of regiment that you want. Yeah, Eric, that is interesting. Yeah, that is a singular benefit. This is the first time we have ever seen anything that could be described as a benefit to having low control. 97, it becomes purple. That's the first time we've
Purple.
seen that.
Oh no, now Joffrey's happy.
I am happy. If it's above 95, it becomes purple. What happens if you have like less than 5? Because if above
Look at the guy with
95
the
is
zero.
Pitch
It's like,
oh,
quick. Wait,
no,
yeah, you can see 0
it
on
doesn't
Reinhardt von
it
Steyer there.
it
it
doesn't
says like
change.
brown.
Yeah, it's the same as anything else that's below 33. That's 33 or below. Yeah, nothing special. Oh well. So sad. But he's he's got purple. You screenshot of that real quick. It's a pretty good commander, which can lead a pretty big army. So, because I mean, he's fantastic admin skill and really good marshal as well. Camp follower. Contract length and there's so much you can customize about this. Wow. And you can choose. So this is showing, okay, this is showing the capacity. He can have up to one camp follower, and that's yeah, up to 4 footmen, all that sort of thing. And this is showing how much you're choosing to get. CK3. CK3, yeah, landless dudes can sort of be mercs. Yeah. But it seems they're taking mercs in a very different direction in this game than they had in EU4. Contracts and extensions. When you hire a mercenary, you set a default contract length, and at the end of that contract, the mercenaries will stop their service. However, if you are still at war, the contract will be extended for another year. If you wish to terminate a contract in advance, you need to pay the remaining contracted fee. You can also have auto extension on contracts and mutually extend a contract for another 24 months for an individual merc at a time. Okay. So you can, yeah, you can. It's just saying you can pick and choose and be like this merc company in particular. I want to extend their contract. Yeah. Hmm. Each new contract signed or extended has a signing fee that heavily depends on the type of troops you wish to hire and the skill of the commander. So okay, um, I thought they said they weren't doing this earlier, but they are saying now that in certain contexts at least the skill of a character makes them more expensive. You essentially put a character on it and then whoever any available mercs. Yeah, yeah. And what I don't know is whether like is Karl von Durlach a character that's just in your country? Like, because he's like a noble here. It says noble. So is this you going through your list of available characters and he is just there? Or is this a unique collection of characters? I'm assuming what's going on here is that these flags here are showing their noble houses. Like these are what family they're from, and this is their estate. Either that or this will become the flag of their merc company because it gets a flag for some reason, but I assume it doesn't. I don't know why it would get a flag. Bribing mercenaries. However, just because a contract is signed does not mean that the mercenary will stay loyal for the entire contract. Another country may come around and just offer more money to buy their loyalty. This is not exactly cheap, but it can be rather useful at times. Sometimes, I'm sure that if the country you're fighting hires a big old stack of mercs, and you're a country that has a ton of money but just not many men at the moment, you would love the opportunity to just uh, pay for their people to fight themselves. Yes, renting out your armies. One alternative to paying gold every month to your regular regiments at peace is to rent them out as mercenaries. You can select any unit you have and put them on the market for a given percentage of your costs. Usually above your own costs, as you need to turn a profit after all. If all goes well, you earn gold and your regiments get some nice experience. These armies are then listed as possible armies to contract for any country within range. Hmm. They show up in a list here. The Aragonese army is available for hire for a cheap price. That's 350 regular troops. Yeah. Hmm. Prisoners. This is the last bit. All right. Can't wait for that to be exploited in MP games. What exploiting renting out armies? Yeah, probably. Probably. Sometimes you win a battle by overrunning the enemy. You can capture regiments of the defeated side. Overrun is what refers to a stack wipe, which happens when you have 10 to 1 odds or when the other side has 0 morale. You have a larger army. There are multiple ways to deal with prisoners. If you don't want to keep them around and feed them, yawn. No matter what, though, prisoners will die off slowly over time, as this is not the age of the Geneva Convention. Through various unit abilities, unit abilities? You will always deal with prisoners. First of all, you can attempt to ransom them back to their owners, which will net you some gold and return the regiments to their owner. And secondly, you can recruit them to fight as mercenaries for you, but that means you have to pay them. The advantage of that is that they won't fight for your enemy, though. Thirdly, you can just execute them. That's a bit frowned upon, so it will impact your aggressive expansion, but sometimes it might be worth it. The fourth option you will know more about when we talk about the Nahuatl faith in a future
Wow.
Tinto talks.
I wonder what that could possibly be. I have absolutely no inclinations. What would the Nahuatl people do with captured prisoners of war? If only we had any way of knowing.
Yes, Penzor, I think you got the right idea with your interpretation of what he means by unit abilities. Yeah. Uh, uh, you bonk them. You bonk the soldiers and bring them back home and then yeet them. Yeetus deletus. I'm sure these fellas just want a nice cold beer. Oh, oh dear. Oh, well, that's gonna be an interesting dev diary. Nahuatl love their enemies and their neighbors. Yes, they're all their neighbors and enemies help them keep the sun. Because if they didn't sacrifice these guys, then the sun's gonna lose, and you need to give him the power to keep winning. And obviously, the only way to keep the sun winning is to keep sacrificing people.
I'm pretty sure they have a whole thing where the sun is going to lose in the end, but all they can do is slow that down.
Oh no way! Is the Doomer religion too? And
Yes.
Pix believed that it was gonna.
All they can do is delay.
Wow. I swear there was something about like if they don't sacrifice enough, they can always just sacrifice their king, and that will be enough. But I don't know. Now we have gone through the core mechanics we have for Project Caesar. The next few weeks we will go through all the changes that have happened during this year. And thanks both to your great feedback and from internal and external testing. After that, it's time to go through the mechanics of the different religions, the different situations, and the different international organizations. So we're still months away from having the HRE explained. Fuck! I just want to know how the HRE works. Please explain HRE and the Ilkhanate. We need to know how the Ilkhanate works. God damn it. But yeah, they're gonna be going through what changes they've made to mechanics and stuff since they have explained them. That makes sense. Johan is lost in the north. Hmm. You can indirectly recruit. You can sort of recruit, yeah, pops from other countries to fight your wars if you can recruit mercs from them, yeah. And until you develop your standing army, mercs are a good way to increase your troop count. There will be a Tinto talk where they cover Catholicism and the Curia, a religion in IO, and another where they'll cover the Western Schism and the Reformation. Woo! Two situations. That's gonna be great. Did the Ilkhanate even work IRL? Um, Not for long it didn't, but it worked. Well, it worked for a bit, I think. Okay, it's rare that characters get captured, but it's technically possible. Hmm. Ooh, Switzerland. Yes, they'll talk about Switzerland in a future Tinto flavor. Hmm. Standing armies become much more important late game, but mercenaries are relevant because you have things like the Hessians. Yeah, the Hessian mercs, very big deal. Hmm. The revolution is a situation in Project Caesar. Okay, so they even have stuff for like the French Revolution on launch. That's so good. Aztecs believed in cyclical time. Our sun was not the first, and it will not be the last. Oh, oh. Well, that's neat. I mean, in a roundabout, in a manner of speaking, it's true. Uh, hmm. Okay. You cannot choose to only raise from other countries. So you can, as you can recruit. Yeah. Okay. So you can choose to recruit mercenaries from other countries, and by recruiting mercenary companies from other countries, you will be having their pops die for you. So if you are spooked of having your pops get hurt in war, just don't raise a merc company from your primary culture. Oh, yeah. The Black Army of Hungary. Well, we're going to talk about that in a second, probably then. And you do still need to upkeep mercs. Okay, you need to give them goods. All right. Hmm. Don't think there's all that much more to be said here. Yep. Just talking about stuff like, oh, the UI better be work in progress because it's so bad. You know, definitely haven't seen that comment before. Here we have the Kingdom of Hungary. And along with it, a like sixth different version of what the. Wait, oh no, this is the same map. They've just turned off coloring vassals. So
Yes.
Halish and the Moldavians have their own colors, yeah. Did either of you guys have anything else to add about the mercs before we start this?
No, not at the moment.
Alrighty then. Today we are looking at yes, the favorite playtesting country, as we have heard. Yes, people love playing Hungary to playtest, which sounds fair. They've got a lot of interesting terrain. I'm sure is fun to. They own a lot of land, and they've got a lot of stuff to mess around with. Probably PUing people, I'm sure, and lots of rivers to try and navigate your control growth around, avoiding the marshlands. So, for centuries, the great kingdom of Hungary defended the borders of Christendom from the pagans and heathens beyond it. Recent noble rebellions put this duty in danger, but thanks to the iron hand of King Diangio Carli, the disgruntled nobles have been reined back under his rule, and the Christian bastion is renewed and reinforced. However, the future of Hungary is not to dwell in peace, as already new trouble is brewing in the southeast that will challenge the strength of the Regnum Marianum. Ah. What fate awaits the kingdom of Hungary? Will it fall to the enemies of the faith, or will it stand proud before the waves of those who seek its demise? Pum, 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 pum. Pum, 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 pum. And he is, of course, an Anjou. He's pretty decent stats. 49 years old. He'll be around for a bit yet. We're currently working to have more settled dynastic flavor, but for the moment, the House of Anjou is taking its naming from the Italian variant of it, since it's the main house. So take it as work in progress. As any UI 2D art and 3D art is always. Here is Hungary. Beautiful. And its starting diplomatic situation. So, allied to Poland, I think. Yes. Allied to Poland, and Croatia is in a personal union. Not shown on the map yet is that Hungary is embargoing Austria as a result of the pact made with Bohemia. But Hungary isn't in. Oh, so the war in the Baltic is the Teutonic Order attacking Lithuania. Poland is called in, but Hungary is not. That's my understanding of the situation, at least. Hungary has some starting privileges. Monetary fiefs, which gives them extra centralization, but less tax on the nobles and less levy on the nobles. Hmm. Hmm. That's a curious one. Our ruler owns most of the land directly and avoids making perpetual grants to the nobility. Instead, new fiefs will be managed and enjoyed by appointed officials that will only do so for the time they hold those offices. So this sounds like a good thing because I had heard, I had heard that the Kingdom of Hungary is very centralized at this point in time, and that is, so it's good that they have this thing that gives them a. I'll have to ask Mysterian about this afterwards. They have this thing that gives them a lot of centralization progress. It's just the other effects of it seem so bad, but perhaps the bonus to centralization is really good. I don't know. Now this is what I'm curious about. Oh, this is not a unique privilege, but a generic one that we created taking into account Hungary's situation. A few countries across Europe also start with it enacted. Oh, okay. So monetary fiefs is not a thing that's specific to Hungary's situation. It's something that is granted to countries across Europe that have a more administrative mindset, where their lands are handed out just temporarily by officials. So it is much more like an admin realm from CK3. Can't wait for the CK3 to EU5 converter to actually do something in regards to admin realms. Haha. But inviting German settlers. So, yes, they did in fact explain in Tinto Flavor 1 the invite German settlers thing, where you can. I don't think you actively ask for it. I think it's that it causes events to happen where German settlers will uh, want to show up, and then you say yes, we want them, and then the country that they're coming from has to decide, well, do we let them go? Well, by having it active, it triggers this recurring event, and yeah, you click welcome them, help them settle directly, or we don't need more foreigners. 483 Danube Bavarian pups will migrate each month from Alpenvorland to Pest for the next 48 months. That is quite a lot of Bavarians, I must say. That sounds like a steal, I'm gonna be honest. Um, I don't know how I don't know how well, okay. I imagine Hungary has a lot of cultural minorities. I think it does. If I remember the way that the map looked, there was quite a few large minorities. So it might be an issue with a cultural conversion, but still having more people is a good thing. That's a lot more than a single, it's a lot more than just one proud Bavarian indeed. Yes, yes, there's quite a few proud Bavarians. I'm sure that OPB is gonna have the time of his life with EU5. Then again, he just kind of plays Vic these days, so I don't know.
But this will be the newest Paradox game. As such, he'll move to this.
That's quite possibly true.
March of the Eagles 2.
Nah, we've seen the truth. They have Europa as a tier 5 title. It's over. It's over. We know.
No. Yes, but they don't have Universalis as a tier 6 title, do they?
Well, it's because this isn't the 6th game.
I'm just saying.
So, you have a unique, yes, title localization for the Parliament. Fun. And they have some artifacts. One of which is the crown. Ah, a unique advance. For the age of Renaissance, they get Realm of Many Cultures, which gives a whole minus 10% add accepted cultures cost and cultures capacity plus 2. That's big. That is big. Of course, you can't accept them. You've got to just tolerate them. Use that capacity to tolerate them so you'll still convert them. You can't. Accepting them? Don't be ridiculous. They must all be Hungarian in the end. The Carpathian... unfinished text, but the Carpathian base is home to more than just the Hungarians, Slovaks, Cumans, Germans, and many other different minorities that call our realm. Oh, more than just the Hungarians, yeah. They call our realm home. As such, it is only natural that our government is proficient in adopting different cultures into our state with ease. This advance helps Hungary manage all the different cultures it starts with, and also portrays a historical policy followed by many Hungarian kings in the Middle Ages. Attempt to learn all these goddamn languages. Composite light cavalry. They got that, the Mogir attack. Cavalry power up 20%. Ooh, it's not cavalry combat ability anymore. Made of horse archers as well as swift horsemen, the light cavalry of our country is the backbone of our military force. It showed its merit in the great Battle of Marchfield in 1278, and it will once again lead our forces to glory. And there is, in the age of discovery. The age of discovery, you get the Found the Black Army advance. Yes. And you get a regular regiment, so it is a professional soldier. Inspired by the writing of Julius Caesar, Hungary shall have a corps of professional troops for her armies. These men will be so tough that our enemies will brand the soldiers the Black Army. Bum, 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 bum. And they do, in fact, yes, of course, they use firearms and weaponry. Strength damage taken. Serving as a standing mercenary army for the Kingdom of Hungary, the Black Army was a full-time war-focused army in contrast to other mercenary armies in Europe. They used an unusually high ratio of fire weapons for the period, which, despite being really effective, eventually led to their unprofitability with the death of Matthias Corvinus. Among the several options we had available to portray the infamous Black Army, we decided upon making them a regular infantry unit. We thought about making it a unique merc company, but since they were usually directly on the payroll of the king, we thought that it would be better as a recruitable, unique unit. And in the Reformation, they get a couple of war-oriented 10% extra manpower. What the hell? I don't haven't. I mean, okay. I mean, admittedly, cavalry power at the game at game start, cavalry power plus 20% was there. So, I mean, I can't freak out too much, but just plus 10% manpower is a large number. With Turkish power rising in the south, it falls to the people of the Kingdom of Hungary to defend Christendom from the Turkish threat. Let it be known that we will not flinch from our duty. And Hungarian hussars in the Age of Reformation as well. Which will be handy because you get bonuses to cav. They are less effective in mountains, wetlands, and jungle, though. Well, that's not as most of that isn't. Oh, actually, I'm saying that's not especially relevant. The jungle isn't relevant, but there is quite a bit of mountain and wetland around, so it's gonna be rough. What does the 10% MP mean when the unit counts are based on pops? MP plus 10% MP. Oh, so you get manpower from pops. The amount of manpower you have is determined by, among other things, your estates and the pops in your country and how tolerated they are of you slash what your levy laws are. So there are laws that will make you recruit focused on the nobility, which means that you recruit levies primarily from the nobles, and as a result, you will have less manpower, and the size of your levies will be much lower as well. However, they will be specifically from noble pops most of the time, and will be higher quality. So you'll levy a higher proportion of knights into your army as a result. Or you could focus on burghers, you could focus on peasants. I don't think you can have a law. I don't think there's a law that focuses on the church. As funny as that would be. Similarly, if you're a country like Mali, Mali can use slave soldiers, and the Mamluks are going to be an obvious other country that can use slave soldiers. Galley ships in Europe, in like Genoa, Venice, those countries all use galley slaves. So a lot of the manpower that will be used in um your galleys for the crewing of them will be from the slave pops, and in places like the Mamluks, your Mamluk cavalry, that will be from slave pops, and the same with Mali and their various frontline slave infantry. So it will pull from the relevant pop associated with that unit. Uh, Ouch. But yes, there is a difference between the manpower pool that you have, which you'll still see at the top of the screen, and then the damage it does to pop numbers as units die, as it figures out what unit it's supposed to damage based on how that unit was recruited and all that. also in the Age of Reformation, you get two other advances depending on which religion you follow. The first is for Catholic Hungary, and the other two are for Protestant Hungary. So, you can get the Catholic Shield, which gives you monthly religious influence, and tolerance of the true faith go up. The ideas of the Reformation spread through Europe like wildfire, yet as such, and as such we bound and as such were bound to find their way to our lands, yet the hearts of the faithful remain strong. God and his loyal servants will withstand the heretical madness. Don't know what religious influence does. No. Hungarian Reformation, which gives you costs of church power actions and tolerance of the true faith. Well, we'll have to see what those do. Perhaps with the fact that church power actions are still a thing, it's not going to be as different as some people might hope. The ideas of the Reformation spread. Our lands have been threatened by outside powers for long enough, and by joining the Reformation and abandoning the duty to follow the Pope like his lapdog, we can break at least one of the shackles that suppress us. And realm of many religions, which you get in the Age of Reformation, which increases heretical and heathen tolerance by one. Yep. The Reformation split families apart, made former friends into enemies, and threatened the very stability of many states. However, our realm knows better than to fall victim to the theological fight. We are a people and a realm of many religions, after all. I will explain what religious influence and church power do in the Tinto talk dedicated to Catholicism and Protestant. Narrative content for Hungary. Yes, the absolute rule of King D'Angelo Caroli. King D'Angelo Caroli has firmly committed to the principles of absolute rule, refusing to convene diets, centralizing the administration, and consolidating his authority over the realm. While the nobility's loyalty wanes as the crown's authority grows, the state's efficiency and power are markedly enhanced under his unwavering command. The state is his to rule, or the power of the king must be shared. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't slip back. You're just so close to absolute rule. Keep the centralization going. So, you get the king himself gains the absolute rule of Caroli forever. I like the fact that they're now having stuff say for forever instead of until 1821.
Yeah, it works a bit better. It's cleaner.
So it's a little more clear, because for the longest time I never knew that was the end date of the game, and I was just like, oh, that's a bummer. It ends in 1821? Oh. That's not... I was hoping it would just last the rest of the game. But despite making the nobility less happy, you get an extra cabinet seat and administrative efficiency plus 10%. Oh. Well, I would make the nobles a little less happy for a bit. I mean, they'll be less happy, but they'll get over it. These buffs stay. Unfortunately, it's only for the duration of your ruler. Because permanent modifiers are going to be a rather rare thing in this game. Outside of, because primarily the places you get permanent modifiers from are going to be tech and laws. Not from permanent modifiers that will stay like this, yes. And the more I think about it, as I say that out loud, I'm thinking, yeah, that will be a that will be a pretty interesting way to handle when it comes to modding stuff. Wanting to be like, oh, I want to give these people a unique modifier, and be like, oh well, one way that's will be able to very easily add that is through unique policies. But some things, I suppose, will be hard to represent in such a way. Hmm. Do you think there should be a resource for how many horses the state has access to? It should be called horsepower. I can't think of a clever comeback to that. That stumped me because I was so following the train of thought there, thinking you meant like you were being serious. I have no idea why I thought you were being serious, Hot Pocket, because you always pull this shit. Yeah, you win, you win. Of all the things, the horsepower joke is what got me. God damn it. Well, in regards to how many horses the state has access to, we know that horses are a resource. In fact, horses, interestingly enough, are a resource that is one of the most difficult to trade. It's a very costly resource to move, I believe. I think so, at least. I think it's up there. So if you choose to share the power of if you choose to share the power of the king, it makes the nobility 10% more satisfied, which I don't think that makes up for the fact that you're losing out on an extra cabinet seat and that admin efficiency. Whoa, not even remotely. But here, there's unique clothes for the King of Poland. Yes, the Congress of Visegrad in 1337. Hmm. Uh, in the 14th century, Hungary and Poland maintained a complex and occasionally tumultuous relationship. The Congress of Visegrad in 1335 aimed to solidify diplomatic ties between the two nations. It was during this Congress that a crucial agreement was reached stipulating that should King Casimir III of Piast or King d'Angelo Kerry pass away without a male heir, their realm would inherit the lands of the other. What? This was a thing?
Yep.
Yes.
Well, that's when you people that is just setting you up for assassinations, man. This someone is gonna get the knife. What the? Oh, hell yeah! This is interesting. Especially with how PUs work very differently. That's so. Oh. Now the time has come to invoke this pact and ensure the fulfillment of this historic agreement. It is time to solidify the agreement, or we should drop the matter. So if you solidify the agreement, we make the proposal to Poland, causing the following effect if they accept. Hungary makes a pact with Poland, which changes the succession law of both countries to union of crown succession. Should either Casimir III Piast or King d'Angelo Kerry die without a proper heir, then the other character will inherit this deceased throne, forming a union. What? Union of crown succession. Okay. For anyone who is worried about the modability of succession laws, like okay, CK3 has abominable modability when it comes to modding succession laws. But if this exists, this thing, it's gotta be a playground in there, surely. But the Union of Crowns succession law is a type of succession law used by countries which have a special agreement with another monarchy. Surely this is not a common thing. How does this with all the in the case of the death of one of both countries' rulers without legitimate male heir. The other ruler will inherit the throne of the former. Eligibility rules. Through siblings of ruler. Allow children, allow male, current rulers ignored, allow estates, nobility, and crown. Upon succession, the following happens. Form a union in case our successor is not the male heir of our previous ruler. Huh.
Basically, if there's not a male child, it gets inherited by the other ruler.
As in, yeah, it would not go to, like, if it would be inherited by a brother, then that brother does not get it, and instead that other ruler does. Yeah.
I believe so.
Sheesh.
No, because it also says through siblings of rulers. So if you have no male siblings and no male children, then it goes to the other, is how I'd read that.
Siblings of ruler, allow children, allow male. Yeah. Eligible characters are ranked as follows: is a direct male descendant.
So essentially, direct male descendants take priority, and then otherwise the eldest sibling will inherit. The eldest male sibling will inherit.
Yeah. Yeah. That is
See,
good. That's good code.
The easy solution is to just be 101 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Be me thinking about how this will affect like any long-lived race. Oh, no.
Will it affect the trout population?
Surely this will devastate the trout population of not Newfoundland. No. Our state rejoices. Yeah, as if. It's like, oh wow, our state is so happy, like as if this is the most happy thing. Our state rejoices in Poland's acceptance of the Second Congress of Visegrad, further strengthening the historical ties between the two nations. This diplomatic gesture showcases Poland's commitment to honor the 1335 agreement, bringing a sense of unity and trust between our states. It is a promising sign of cooperation and shared responsibility for the future. Well done!
Excuse me while I barf in my mouth.
Why aren't you barfing in your mouth?
I don't know, it just sounds so stuffy and disgusting.
It's a promising sign of cooperation and shared responsibility for the future. Well done.
Well done, old sport.
Yes, showcasing Poland's commitment to honor the agreement of 1335. So, yes, the idea being that, yeah, the agreement happened before games start, but because it's a recent thing that's relevant to gameplay, they make it a thing that you can choose to interact with post-game start as well. So, presumably there's a rule. Actually, well, I'm curious how they can because in CK3, you've got all sorts of rules for like, does this happen? Does this happen at this date? There was the whole kerfuffle, like forever being like, does the Magyar migration happen immediately and stuff like that? So what I'm curious about is like the rules for things like this. If you have the default rule on, like, is there a default rule where it's like anytime there's an agreement like this, the AI will always take the historical route, or is it like EU4 where unless you change the rule, or maybe there isn't even a rule. There probably is a rule. But maybe it's like EU4 where the default answer is random. 30% chance they pick a local noble instead. Who knows? But this makes the countries like each other, and you get the Union of Crowns Pact. Now I just need to figure out someone in our planned mod to give this to. Who's gonna make a Union of Crowns pack? Both countries will be called to each other's defense if attacked. disallows war declarations between the two countries while this treaty is active. Both gain plus 15 opinion of each other, and while this treaty is active, both gain 5 trust. We will change succession law to Union of Crowns. We gain 5 trust of country, and we gain the Union of Crowns back forever, unless, until one of you dies. Yes. It doesn't necessarily mean that they both may unite. If both have an heir, as historically happened, for instance, this is from the gameplay I was doing to take the screenshots. Our Chancellor reports consort regency. As we do not have a king, the country is now ruled through a consort regency. This will last until Crown Prince D'Angio Lajos comes of age, which is at 5th March 1342. Elizabeth Piast becomes a regent, and she is bad with counter-espionage, but stability go up, which is nice. When the ruler of a monarchy dies, well, there is a child. Yeah. During the reign of King Laios, a few more interesting events happened. The newly crowned king, the great D'Angio Laios, finds a realm at a crossroads. His predecessor, Carolee, upheld a ban on gold and silver exports, reserving access to these precious metals for a select few. Of course he did. Just like, no, not exporting the gold at all. This is just for us to mint. And only a select few in the country get access to it. With his eventual passing, the nobility and burghers seek to gauge the new monarch's stance, pressing for the ban's removal to enable unrestricted trade in gold and silver. Because there is a lot of gold and silver in the country. While such a move may affect our mercantile influence in the markets, the prospect of appeasing these estates and unlocking fresh trade opportunities lends a certain allure to the request. So what does this actually do, though? We enact unlimited export policy in the precious metal distribution law. There's a precious metal distribution law. Oh my gosh, there's so many laws. I am so excited. I am jubilant. Thrilled. And it moves you towards free trade, yes. Yes, it does slowly move you in the direction of free trade. Less income from minting. Quite a bit less income from minting. However, that probably helps with inflation. So, also the trade advantage is really good. That extra 10% trade advantage is pretty darn nice. Who knows exactly what free trade does, the societal value wise. So, but overall, this is this is such a, I love situations like this where it's just I don't know what the best option is. Is there even a best option? Who knows? Is it better to just hard focus on minting, but then you get a ton of inflation? But maybe it's only good to export the gold to other people who want it, because then you get more output and then the trade advantage. We shall open the floodgates for our unrestricted trade of gold and silver reserves to foreign nations. With this bold step, we embrace the potential for unparalleled wealth accumulation through international commerce. However, this policy exposes our treasuries to the risk of being dispersed across the world, making them vulnerable to the greed of rival powers. A daring option for rulers who seek to dominate the global market and reap the rewards of boundless riches. Yes. But if you renew the
ban even more gold and silver access. Only the kings are allowed to wear gold and silver. Everybody else must use stone and copper. No silverware for anyone.
I like that. You have repeal the ban, renew the ban, or double down. Go even further. The Order of St. George. The Order of St. George stands as one of Europe's earliest secular chivalric orders. Yes, I know. I've heard a lot of people talking about the knights, the different knightly orders that existed in Hungary. So you can expand the order, and you unlock the Order of Chivalry law, and enact the Order of St. George policy in that law, which gives you, and your character joins the order. Okay, that's cool. The Order of St. George gives you, yes, it gives you a 10% noble levy size, so you get more knights. You're able to recruit more knights from your nobility. I like that. That's interesting. Recruit a character. Okay. Neapolitan Prince Consort. That's the big, big Pope crown. And dress. The Neapolitan Prince Consort, the member of our royal family, has lived for many years in the Neapolitan court, married to Queen Giovanna di Angio. But against any sense of justice or logic, his right to rule as husband and king has been denied, and he holds no power over the matters of state. He kindly asks us to intercede in his name in front of Pope Julius II therein, to reclaim his rights as King of Naples. We will not meddle in the matters of Naples. No, we must. We must meddle. Let us ask the Pope Julius II to correct this injustice. Yes, we will fix the situation. And much more. But that is all for today. Next week on Monday, we will have a Tintomax Maps feedback for Arabia. And on Friday, we'll take a look at the Kingdom of Scotland. Oh, joyous day.
Scotland in it.
Scotland forever. William Wallace. Haggis. In medieval too, their nobles fight on foot and have pikes. That's cool. Big sword.
Guilt.
But with that, I believe, and we're just over the hour long mark. So I believe with that we can, believe we could wrap this up then. So
Sounds like a plan.
stretch. So I will thank you all for watching, and hope to see you next time. Now I made myself dizzy. Bye.